I would consider myself a very emotional person whose main value is emotional connection and vulnerability. My partner is quite the opposite. The best I can describe him is a brick wall. He's reliable, trustworthy, and a hands-on person. Hi everyone, welcome to the Relationships Anonymous podcast. Today's story comes from Reddit, and the title is INFJ and ISTP Compatibility. So she says, "Hi everyone, I am stuck in a rut and need some advice/opinions. I am a 23-year-old female INFJ dating a 27-year-old male ISTP. I would consider myself a very emotional person whose main value is emotional connection and vulnerability. I love DNMs, actually I don't know what that is, and getting to know people on deeper levels. My partner is quite the opposite. The best I can describe him is a brick wall. He's reliable, trustworthy, and a hands-on person. However, we have dated for 2 years now, and I can't recall a single time I've had a deep and meaningful talk with him. I assumed his closed-off nature was due to the fact that he was cheated on in his previous long-term relationship and just needed time to open up. I've brought it up to him many times and have even broke down in a panic attack because of how much it hurts me that he can't express his feelings. I am left to wonder how he feels and basically read his body language and tone. That is basically how I weed out how he feels. By this point, I feel like I know him quite well, and this is just how he is. I feel sad and alone. He is sweet, gentle, kind, and a quiet soul. We share similar values and morals. He hasn't necessarily done anything wrong for me to break up with him, and I definitely don't want to. However, deep down, I know that the emotional connection isn't enough for me. I want a partner who is my best friend and boyfriend. I find myself confiding in my close girlfriends for that emotional connection, and sometimes wonder what it would be like to be deeply connected to someone different. Has anyone been in this situation? And if so, how should I approach this?" Okay, so a couple of things stuck out to me. I'm also an INFJ, so emotional connection is very important to me in my relationships, especially in my dating relationships. And also the feeling sad and feeling alone, that definitely resonated with me as well. I feel like the author and her boyfriend need to go see a couples therapist or counselor, because she says in the 2 years that they've dated, she can't recall a single time they've had a deep and meaningful talk. And that's quite a long time. He needs to know how important that is to her. And sometimes you need a third person to or you need an expert to tell him that, if she has already tried telling him this many times and nothing has come of it. And then the feeling sad in relationships and feeling alone, that's just, the whole point of relationships is to not feel sad and not feel alone. That's the good thing about relationships. So the fact that she feels alone, that's definitely not a good sign. So definitely she needs to talk to him about that. And if it's something that he can meet her halfway and do things to make her not feel alone, then that would solve that problem and it would be great. But if he's not willing to put in the effort, then it's a problem. And she probably needs to leave this relationship and look for a guy who will put in effort into their relationships and who will meet her halfway. Okay, let's see what the comments say. One person says, we often answer our own questions, reread what you've written and how you spoke about your needs, and realize your expectations. The best thing you can do for yourself is not settling. Good luck. I feel like, yeah, definitely, like she shouldn't settle. She should, there are certain needs that we all need in our relationship, and she needs to realize and figure out like what her needs are and write them down and be like, okay, I have to have these in my relationship. And if I don't have them, then I'm not going to be happy, and that's not cool. Another comment that I thought was worth reading is, you have to decide if you're happy continuing a relationship like this forever. I wasn't, which is why I have not gone near another ISTP relationship since experiencing one, and now I rebuff ISTP suitors when I get flashbacks to how it was the first time. ISTPs, in my opinion, cannot give INFJs the emotional connection they're looking for. They frequently hurt INFJs' feelings, and INFJs are pressured to see themselves as too sensitive, rather than the ISTP realizing their lack of social skills and grace are causing the problem. In my experience, the longer you're around an ISTP, the more you have to numb yourself to get through it. When I've been around ISTPs, I could never confide in them, never get emotional support from them. It was truly like talking to a brick wall who would just stare at me and expect me to deal with those problems on my own. They can make relationships feel terribly lonely. You have to harden your natural nature in order to survive in their company, and they will make you feel more and more alone. I think it's wise to see, unless he's actively trying to become more empathetic, nothing you outline is going to change in 5 or 10 years. I, too, convinced myself the ISTP I was seeing hadn't done anything to me. I was just too sensitive. But I wasn't. It was a sign of a lack of compatibility, and I felt sadder and sadder the longer it went on. Someone doesn't have to physically hurt you to show you you're not compatible. The ISTP I met was all the things you outlined: dependable, reliable, etc. But until him, I never felt like I was too emotional. In fact, I'm usually the colder person in my relationships. It was unbearable. Other INFJs I spoke to either say exactly the same as what I've experienced, down to the letter, that they'd never be with an ISTP again, and it made them feel lonely. Or ones I've met who are married to ISTPs say they've just accepted they can't get emotional support from their partner, only friends and family. I don't get that part. If you can't get emotional support from your own partner, isn't that quite sad? I totally agree. That would make me so sad. Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of the story. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And please like and subscribe, and see you guys on the next episode. Bye.